Stocks bounce after a weak open with mid-caps leading the charge. IT and metals are prominent gainers, financial off lows, while utilities drag. Bajaj Finance gains after lender says that credit cost has peaked in Q2 and will moderate going forward, even though the rise in Q2 pushes the full year guidance. Its business momentum remains strong. Gujarat Fluorochemicals EV material arm raises 1,000 crore rupees from its promoters and prominent family offices at a valuation of 25,000 crore rupees. The raise precedes another round planned before the end of the fiscal that will help it ramp up operations to $1.5 billion by FY27. Paytm owner 197 Communication gets NPCI's nod to onboard UPI customers 9 months after RBI barred it from acquiring new users. The move comes as a flip for the payments-led platform. IMF sees India's growth slowing after 2-year strong run fueled by accumulated pandemic demand, which has been exhausted. It now expects growth in FY30 to be at 6.5%, the same as in FY25. Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18 and I'm Benny Motiwala. A quick look at the markets because finally it snapped its 2-day losing streak today and Nifty as of now almost in the day's highest point though. 0.3% of gain, 24,500. About that mark is what the Nifty is trading at. Let's pull up what the broader markets are doing today. While we're seeing that underperformance coming in when the market was falling, today the broader markets are outperforming the Nifty. Look at the Midcap, that's up almost 1.3%. Small cap also managing to hold on to good gains. So yes, clear outperformance today that is coming from the broader markets. Pulling up some of the top gainers today, we have Nifty IT. That is among the top sectoral gainers. So yes, what we're watching out for in terms of the IT names, let's keep an eye out of that. Infosys, TCS, those are among the top gainers coming in the IT pack. As well as we have HDFC Bank, Bajaj Finance, that's holding on to strong gains. So among the Nifty, these are the top pullers for the Nifty in terms of the contribution that we are watching out for today. Other than that, like I mentioned, IT is the top sectoral gainer. Keep an eye out on Coforge, Persistent Systems, KPIT Tech, all of them in focus on the back of its earnings. KPIT Tech, when the numbers were reported a short while ago, saw a sharp spike up, but now it's seen a bit of a decline, so keeping an eye out on that. Earnings impact, Amber Enterprises, GMDC, Max Financials, all of them managing to hold on to good gains after good numbers were reported by them. While weak set of numbers by M&M Financials, Chennai Petro keeping the stock under pressure. But like I was saying, Bajaj Finance, that's the one we're keeping an eye out on. Strong gains that we are seeing. They reported the second quarter numbers yesterday, post-market hours, which indicated a higher stress on the asset quality. Now, what are the factors and why is the stock buzzing in trade? Abhishek is joining in with us to give us the details.
Bajaj Finance has raised their FY25 credit cost guidance to about 2.05% from the earlier guidance of 1.75 to 1.85%. However, the management says that the credit cost has peaked for them in Q2 FY25. So with reference to their asset quality, gross NPA in absolute value increased by 29.4% sequentially and the gross NPA ratio has come in at 1.06% versus 0.86% in the previous quarter. With reference to the PNL, both the NI and PAT were largely in line with our poll till yesterday. In October of 2024, Bajaj Finance stock price had fallen by 15% versus 5% decline in Nifty. So largely street was anticipating a rise in credit costs for Bajaj Finance with respect to their performance. So brokerages say that stability in net interest margin is the key positive. Now Bajaj Finance will benefit from new product launches and easing rates. So valuations as per brokerages are right now attractive for investors. Morgan Stanley has written on Bajaj Finance. They have an overweight rating and a target price of 9,000 per share. Jefferies has a buy call with target price at about 8,400 per share.
Thank you so much for that, Abhishek. But let's move on and shift focus to the mid-cap IT companies. Stocks of Coforge and Persistent System both are up and away in trade after reporting a better-than-expected second quarter number. Earlier today, CEO of Persistent Systems Sandeep Karla and Coforge CEO Sudhir Singh commented on about the company's growth outlook. What are they expecting going forward? Listen in to what both the managements had to say.
As far as the pipeline is concerned, as far as the order book is concerned, it points in that direction, but we'll let the time flow by. Otherwise, it's again like giving forward-looking, kind of numbers. As you've seen, we have grown 18 sequential quarters. We have outperformed the industry. We have invested in AI-led technologies, the platforms that we have built for both product companies and for IT side of the house, and we are relatively confident of outperformance from the sector perspective. Growth was driven by healthcare life sciences, which grew at 71.2% year-on-year, banking financial services, which grew at 15.3% year-on-year, and software high-tech was relatively flat. Now, if we look at the order book that we have had in the last several quarters and the pipeline that we are relatively confident. Even the software, high-tech and emerging verticals should pick up steam over the next 1 to 2 quarters, and there would be a secular growth across all these segments as we look ahead.
As we look at the fact that our large deal pipeline, beyond just the 3 that we've announced in the last quarter, is looking even more robust, we feel very confident that not just the coming quarter, which is quarter 3, but quarters to come should see very robust and sustained growth. And we will continue to deliver that growth as we have over the last 7 years. We believe that we have significant margin levers even going forward to make sure that we deliver or over-deliver on the margin guidance that we'd given for the year. We had said that our gross margin will go up by 50 bips this year over last year. Given where we stand right now, we believe we're going to meet that guidance and at a stretch exceed that guidance going forward.
Okay, and let's shift focus and talk about another stock that has been buzzing in trade today. That's Paytm. Now, why? Paytm's parent company, 197 Communications, said that it has received an approval from the National Payment Corporation of India to resume onboarding of new customers on its UPI platform. As of now, stock holding on to a gain of 1%. But Ritu is joining in with us to give us all those details. Ritu?
Well, relief for Paytm as the National Payments Corporation of India has granted 197 Communications, which is the parent entity of Paytm, approval to onboard new UPI users. And this comes nearly 9 months after the RBI had barred the company from adding new customers. The approval, of course, is contingent on OCL adhering to all regulatory guidelines and NPCI norms. Now, keep in mind, Paytm's UPI market share did take a hit during this 9-month embargo, dropping from 13% in January to about 7% in September, although it remains the 3rd largest player in the UPI ecosystem. Its monthly transacting user base had also fallen to about 6.8 crores in September because of this ongoing migration and the ban on adding new customers until now. Now, OCL had earlier received NPCI's nod to operate as a third-party application provider with about 13.5 crore UPI customers already migrated onto its platform supported by 4 banks. And this nod now to onboard new users is going to lead to an increase in UPI transaction volumes and allow Paytm to cross-sell financial products as a distributor. In fact, yesterday you had founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma speaking about the massive opportunity UPI presents for the company during Paytm's earnings con call, emphasizing that Paytm was not here to become just another mediocre or fringe player, but to solve for the problem of concentration risk in the UPI ecosystem.
Thank you so much for that, Ritu. But leaving you with some good news as we slip into break, 1 million Indians are now making smarter investments with the help of MoneyControl Pro. MoneyControl Pro, which is a part of the listed entity Network 18, has crossed the milestone of 1 million paying subscribers. The site closed September at over 53 million unique visitors, nearly 30% higher than its closest competitor, ET, and underlining the fact that the MoneyControl Pro is India's platform of choice when it comes to making financial decisions. If you haven't subscribed yet, scan the barcode on your screen to become a part of MoneyControl Pro family and help yourself make better financial decisions. MoneyControl also celebrated the 1 million subscriber landmark this morning, ringing the opening bell at the National Stock Exchange. The editorial team of MoneyControl Pro, also joined by India's leading investors, market and minds and movers and shakers, including Ashish Chauhan, the MD and CEO at the National Stock Exchange, Sameer Arora from Helios Capital, and Edelweiss Rashesh Shah for a special chat on the power of Indian equities. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Let's move on. And in a major setback for the edtech startup Byju, the Supreme Court has set aside NCLAT's order allowing the settlement with BCCI. Ashmit is here to tell us more details on that.
Well, here are the quick facts of the case. BCCI as well as Byju had sought to settle a payment dispute over 158 crore rupees, and on the back of that, the NCLAT had allowed for closure of insolvency proceedings. Now, the proceedings then moved here before the apex court on account of the US lenders. The US lenders raising allegations of siphoning off, of mismanagement, saying that their claims are still outstanding and therefore there can be no case made out for closure of these proceedings. This was the question here before the apex court. The Supreme Court, in its decision today, has very clearly held that as far as the rules that dictate the settlement proceedings are concerned, they were not followed. The settlement application needs to be filed by the IRP. Did not happen in this case. The settlement application needs to go before the NCLT. Again, did not happen. It went straight to the NCLAT. And on these procedural grounds, the apex court has rejected the NCLAT order, has set that aside. And importantly, this will bring the insolvency proceedings back into play. The COC again will come back into play. The Supreme Court has said that the settlement amount of 158 crore rupees that Byju was bringing in will now go towards the COC. An important caveat, though, however, the apex court has held that it is not dwelling into the merits of the claims and allegations that have been raised by independent sides. That is something that will now be open to adjudication before the NCLT and the NCLAT. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Ashmit. But do stay on with us because the Supreme Court has also enacted judgments on taxation of industrial alcohol by state governments. Could you tell us more details on that?
Well, it's an important case. It's been pending for 25 years now. A key issue that decides the power of the state versus the power of the centre to regulate and tax industries. The one industry in question is industrial alcohol. This issue has been pending for 25 years, being decided this morning by a rare occurrence by a 9-judge bench of the apex court. In an 8:1 ratio, what the apex court has clearly held is that it is the state government which has the power to regulate and tax industrial alcohol. This entire issue arose way back in 1999 when the UP government had sought to levy an ad valorem fee of 50% on manufacture and sale of industrial alcohol. This was opposed by the centre, saying that this is an exclusive domain of the centre. Now, what's important is that the UP government had argued that in a post-GST world, in a post-GST regime, such sources of income become critical to the state government. Now, it's important because it has large revenue implications across various states. The states of UP and Kerala were petitioners in this matter, but this is applicable across the country to all states. So important on that count. Interesting because it is a rare case where we found that the state government, which is led by BJP-led Yogi Adityanath, was opposing the BJP-led government at the centre. So interesting question here being settled by the apex court by a 9-judge bench of the Supreme Court. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for all those updates there, Ashmit. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. More news and updates on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Let's move on, and moving on to an exclusive. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the SEBI chief could appear before the Parliament's Public Account Committee tomorrow as it conducts a performance review of the regulatory bodies. Parikshit is joining in with us to tell us more details on that.
Well, this is going to be an important meeting of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. It is headed by K.C. Venugopal, the Congress General Secretary, and it has members from both the BJP, the NDA and the opposition as well. Several Congress, several TMC members part of this committee. Now, as per convention, the chairman or the head of the body that has been called by the parliamentary committee has to appear before the panel. So in this case, the topic, the theme of the discussion is the performance review of regulatory bodies in the country. So as part of this, officials of TRAI and SEBI have been called. These meetings will take place from 11 a.m. in the morning to about 2:33 in the afternoon tomorrow, and the SEBI chief and the TRAI chief are likely to appear before the committee. Now, what is likely to happen? Well, the Hindenburg report has been in the news, and that has made some allegations against Madhavi Puri Buch, the SEBI chief, and her husband as well. We've been told by sources that this issue is not on the agenda. The agenda is only a performance review of the regulatory bodies. But that does not stop members from asking questions about the linkages with the Adani Group. That is a possibility. Now, there could be an objection also which the members of the ruling alliance, that is the BJP, could raise, saying that you cannot make any kind of personal allegations or personal questions to Madhavi Puri Buch. You cannot go off the agenda, and you have to limit yourself to the topic of the agenda. So we're expecting some fireworks in that meeting as well. Having said that, what has the SEBI sent to the Public Accounts Committee ahead of this important meeting? Well, it has submitted a statement of accounts for FY23. The market regulator has submitted annual reports for FY23 and FY24. Annual reports have been submitted to highlight initiatives of the SEBI with regard to financial markets, primary and secondary markets, FPIs, regulatory action and enforcement, and protecting investor interest. SEBI has also provided details of audited accounts by the CAG, and they have also said that the internal audit manual of SEBI has been made applicable with effect from February this year.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Parikshit, over there. But let's move on to some news on the election front. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has filed her nomination papers for the upcoming by-polls from Kerala's Wayanad Lok Sabha constituency. Ahead of her nomination, the siblings also held a roadshow. The Wayanad seat has been vacant since Rahul Gandhi decided to hold the Raebareli seat after the 2024 polls. The by-poll will be held on November 12th, and where Priyanka Gandhi will take on the BJP and the CPI. And let's move on. And in some tragic turn of events, at least 6 people were killed after an under-construction building collapsed in Bangalore on Tuesday. And this incident was followed by the heavy rains across the city that they have been witnessing. The police and the fire tenders have recovered 6 bodies from the site. So far, rescue efforts remain underway. As per initial reports, the management continued their work amid the heavy rains, which led to the tragedy. Okay, and that's all the time we have on this edition of Business Lunch on CNBC TV 18. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. Midcap Radar up next.